Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 26th, and it happens to be my wife's birthday. And so today I'll talk about things that happen that are unusual, but they are probably everyday occurrences. And this is an occurrence that happens with a couple of important people, but it's something that humans do. Sometimes we do things that are unexpected. And in this particular case, it was a very embarrassing situation for a couple of airline pilots who were flying the plane that was on its way to China. And what do you think happened? It was not a disaster, but one of the pilots forgot his passport. Now, I did not realize that if you were flying an intercontinental flight, that you would have to have a passport in order to land in the foreign country. I would have assumed that as a pilot on the plane, you're doing your job and you land there. And maybe you can't go and stay there or anything like that. But do you really need to have your passport to fly your plane to a foreign country and land? And if that's the case, why don't you have a spare passport that you carry with you all the time, that is sort of attached to any plane that you're going to fly? In any event, this is a very embarrassing situation, and this United Airlines 787 was on its way from Los Angeles to Shanghai, and it had to turn around after they discovered that one of the pilots was missing his hat, his passport. And so the flight departed about 2 p.m., and there were 257 passengers on this flight and 13 crew members, and they were heading northeast over the Pacific Ocean bound for one of China's largest cities. And about 2 hours later, the plane turned around and was redirected to San Francisco. And it landed there about 5 p.m. local time. That's according to the website Flightware. I didn't even know they had such a website as Flightware. But because the pilot didn't have his passport on board, when they landed, a new crew came on and took the plane over. And it took off around 9 p.m., which was, 6 or 7 hours behind schedule. And one of the Chinese passengers on board told CNN that she heard the pilot's very frustrated voice over the intercom saying that he forgot his passport. He was apologizing to the passengers. I'm so sorry, I forgot my passport. Now we gotta go back. We gotta go back. So that's what I imagine in my head this poor young pilot is telling them. So after landing in San Francisco, Yang and the other passengers on there received 2 meal vouchers worth about $30. And they used that, at least this young passenger, Yang, used that at a Chinese restaurant at the airport. And she also said she filed a compensation claim on United's website, where she was informed to expect a response within 14 business days. I would imagine she's going to ask for her flight money to be reimbursed or something. So in any event, you see, Nothing is perfect in this world. But this is an incident that caused, I'm sure, some people trouble in some way, shape, or form, because they may have been late for an appointment. They got people waiting at the airport for them. Who knows what all the passengers went through because of this mistake that the pilot made. But the good part about it was that nobody was injured. There was no damage to the plane. And it gave me an opportunity to speak about something unusual happening in the world. So all in all, I would call this, for my view, a very exciting experience. Something that I can talk about with a smile on my face. Not anything political, but a human event that came, in my mind, to a mostly happy end. But it turns out that in my mind I'm wrong, because there were many on this flight that were extremely unhappy. They had to switch planes. Their whole schedules were disrupted. And so there was a lot of grumbling amongst the passengers, which I overlooked in the beginning of my reading of this article, because toward the end they defined many, many things that the people were unhappy at. And one of them was the extreme loss of time in their lives, where they had to take a different attitude toward the rest of their day, and they had to catch up on their work. So while the pilot landed safely, he screwed up their life, and so he was not forgiven for that. And I was too quick to come to a happy ending. So I leave you with the truth. Many unhappy people on that flight. Many of them had their life schedules screwed up, their working days fouled, and so I stand corrected in my original view. And it was only getting to the end of the article that I realized how unhappy many of those people were. And I don't know what's going to happen to the pilot who left his important materials at home. So that's the true ending. Not such a great day. So have a great day. Take care. Bye. Thank you.